and welcome once again to the UGO podcast, Unapologetic Geek Out. Travis,
yeah,
it has been a while since we've sat down and just had a regular episode.
That's true.
And you'll have to wait for a while yet because we have a backlog of content. Psych!
Yay.
It's just going to be us up front here for the beginning part of it, and then we're going to have to jet out here because me and Travis are both busy with stuff. I am exceedingly run rabbit this past week and this week, and it looks like next week's gonna suck too.
Good luck with that.
But
I'm gonna go see if I can't find a donut chocolate covered bacon cheeseburger.
Oh my goodness, you are going to the state fair.
I am.
Yeah, I mean you may return with higher cholesterol than any man should have.
That's true.
But I think I condemn you, sir. I was going to say condone you, but I didn't know what, like that doesn't sound right either. I condemn you, sir. You're going to die. But in the best Wisconsin way.
That's true. Drinking and eating.
Yes. But yeah, we are finally back. Last week was our Austin coverage of just the games we played.
Week of gaining fucking content.
Yeah, that was fun. We didn't get a chance to talk about our Austin trip, but it was very much fun, and we'd like to thank Patience, our hostess for the week.
Hostess of the mostess.
The hostess with the mostess, and her husband Carlos was also very accommodating. They were very nice and helped us out a lot during the week. Thanks to Double Toasted for featuring some of our stuff on their site, including Pot Against Evil and all that stuff. Thanks to Chris Herman and John Romo, the One of Us crew for inviting us on The Gathering, which was really cool. You can go over there, subscribe to them, and listen to me and Travis get super drunk with a bunch of other nerds.
It's true.
It's really, really fun. And that was Chris Cox. Got to hang out with him a little bit too. I am so tired because things are in full swing for Comic-Con, which I will be all but confirmed visiting for New York Comic-Con, going there for Pot Against Evil. But in order to do that, I gotta write some articles and kind of prove my worth sort of thing. So things have been very busy. I would once again like to thank Travis for letting me to borrow his vehicle while mine's fucked.
Do you probably want to get that fixed one these days, though?
I mean, right now I'm putting all the money into the new car thing. One day I'll have to, what really sucks about when your car dies is that, even if you want to get rid of it, you gotta spend money to get rid of it.
It's true. Well, yeah.
I mean, there's almost no way around it, unless you just want to abandon it somewhere.
Well, there's a way we'll talk about later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Travis, do you know a Chop Shop? Because,
Nick, we grew up in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Do you not know a Chop Shop?
Oh, you know what? I feel left out now. I'm not even one of the cool kids. It seems like everyone knows what a Chop Shop's with me. And Travis, you are also now working for That's My Entertainment, correct?
Yes, I still have to get my first article written and put in, partially because the show that they had me, I only had one episode. I'm like, okay, I don't feel like this is enough to write about.
Because, you're writing about that new show, the Parks and Rec people.
Yeah.
Yeah, making it. That's cool. I got some more articles up there. I'm going to be writing, I'm writing stuff for Trial and Error, which is now all but canceled by NBC, so that sucks. Well, Travis, you and me liked a show at the same time. It was our own fault, and we fucked it, because that's what happens when we watch a show young and at the same time.
It is true.
We avoided our own rule, which was we let things go for 7 seasons, and then we both watch it.
But we've been watching a lot of things at the same time lately. Like Voltron's still going.
Yeah, I guess.
Steven Universe.
Steven Universe, I watched a bunch way through and then got you on.
True.
That's usually our method of how we avoid killing things.
True.
But you're right, Voltron we watched together. And,
I thought that cycle was broken.
Well, I mean, Netflix doesn't cancel anything anymore, unless it's fucking, the 90, or This Sucks, which is the one thing. Come on! But yeah, you're also watching Super. You're having fun with, Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, I did start watching that. It's more Dragon Ball Z.
We'll just leave it at that. It's just more Dragon Ball Z.
It's if you like Dragon Ball Z, you're gonna like Dragon Ball Super, I'm guessing. But I sometimes don't understand why people like Dragon Ball Z, because I enjoy it for the fact that it was one of those, it was one of the kind of OG animes that kind of came to America and became really popular. But when you go back and watch them, yeah,
it's different.
It's kind of trashy.
It had a fucking awesome theme song.
It's true.
It was pretty rad. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty much the big draw of it. But yeah, this episode we're actually gonna we have plenty of other content from KatsudaCon
Content.
No, I think we burned through most of our Anime Austin stuff. I'll have to go check, but I think KatsudaCon still has a couple of our panels we need to get through. But we also have one that's been on the back burner for a while, which is talking about the Arrowverse shows. And I got to
Which you say every single time will be the last time you do it.
Yep. And I do the same thing this time, but this time, Travis,
You mean it?
I might mean it, because not only do I not like doing it anymore, but I really don't have the time to invest in, what's it now, 5 fucking shows?
That you like maybe one of?
I mean, I like Legends of Tomorrow and Black Lightning, so that's pretty good.
So 2.
Supergirl used to be pretty fun. Maybe it could come back. Arrow's fucked beyond belief. I mean, I'll root for Flash for a little bit still, but I don't know. I guess we always have Gotham.
We do have Gotham for one more season.
So yeah, we're gonna hit into the coverage of with Zack.
That's another one actually. Gotham. We basically started watching at the same time. You watched like maybe a few episodes before I got into it.
But I mean, we waited until there was 3 seasons were out of it. You know? So
still,
but and then when we were watching it, they were questioning whether or not they're gonna have another season.
Yeah. But they got another season.
They did get a final season, so that's exciting. But yeah, we're going to talk with Zack from the comic book Super from Unlikely Hero Studios and Odobro Ed, like we always do when we're talking about the CW superhero shows. And enjoy it, because it might actually be the last time. But yeah, without further ado, and Travis, unless you have anything else to add, we can just... All right, then we can just get right into it. We'll we'll get to that right after this musical break. And welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, our traditional bi-yearly Arrowverse review. Am I saying that right, or is it biannually? Like biannually?
Biannually, I believe, is the technical term, but you can call it whatever you want, man.
Oh, and who is that on the phone? Why, I have Edwin Reyes, Odobro Ed, as we like to call him. Say hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Ed, I'm so glad to have you back on. And not only that, we have Zack Dolan from Super, the comic book that I truly, truly enjoy, Unlikely Hero Studios. Zack, say hi.
Hi, how's it going?
Guys, I am so glad to have you back. I realize that we're basically Arrowverse friends, now that I think about it. And that's... I mean, and after this season...
We're really rare. I don't think there's many of us out there anymore.
You know, guys, I feel like maybe we should get together and, like, become other types of friends, like other stuff. Like, maybe we can talk about, I don't know, Steven Universe or like, do you guys want to, like, because, oh man, guys, we're going to be talking about the later half of the 2018 Arrowverse shows, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but oof, I'm a goof. This...
It hasn't been that fun. No, there's been exactly like one bright spot, and that's Black Lightning, and pretty much the rest of it has been kind of a wash. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, let's just get into it, guys. This crop really
tear the Band-Aid right off.
Yeah, I mean, what happened? Like, what do we think happened, guys? Because I didn't really much like anything other than 2 shows that I'll keep the spoiler free, because I also enjoyed Black Lightning. But what was the other show that I liked? I don't know, Ed. What'd you feel about it overall?
Overall, it was kind of a chore. Like, it's definitely at the point where I've seen enough of this that I can't bail out now, and I'm still slightly entertained. Like, they give me enough to be like, fine, you better do better next time. But I don't feel like they are.
Yeah, I feel the same way, only I can definitely abandon it. I can definitely drop out. Especially on a couple of these shows here. So, where do we want to start? Like, what show should we start with here?
Well, for me, I'd say let's start with the bottom. Let's start with Arrow.
Yes.
Arrow is by far the worst one.
Yeah,
Guys,
Arrow was a real chore.
Can anyone remember when Arrow was good? Like,
I
season
do
one?
remember when Arrow was good. I remember those days. That's why it hurts so much that it's this lousy consistently.
it's
Like,
so,
there were almost no bright spots this season at all. Definitely not in the back half. Like,
What
there
was a bright
virtually-
spot for you? Because I'm trying to remember right now myself.
I liked. No, I'm drawing a blank.
There's really not that I almost was like, oh, okay, because are we talking about spoilers? You said no spoilers earlier. I was confused for a minute, but
No, let's spoil away. Anyone who hasn't caught it up yet,
There's
deal with
no
it.
It's pretty late.
sanctity left here. It's
but my thing was that, like, when they revealed that the Legion of Whom was not the end all be all of the villainy this season, I got very hopeful. I was like, oh, there is something behind this League of Losers, like that's good. And they sort of suggested that Richard Dragon / Ricardo Diaz, whatever, would be this way more interesting villain when he revealed his true face, or whatever. And he wasn't. Like, he was exactly as shitty as he was when you didn't know who he was. And then they revealed, like, what the hell? I don't remember what they're called. A quadrant? Like, these guys,
the fucking quadrant.
Yeah,
oh my god.
guys out of nowhere that they're like, yeah, they're these big scary villains, and they're like in 2 episodes and they do nothing, and it was just so bad. Like, just every bit of it, I didn't buy any of it. Like, none of it was sincere. It was just,
If we're throwing spoilers out the window, I did find it genuinely pleasing when, like, the big bad quadrant is all in the room with him. He just, like, shanks someone, takes over, and then continues to take over, and they were nothing. Like, they were nothing!
See, that was supposed to make him look like such a badass, but all it did was make them look like punks. Like, it did not elevate him in any way, but it made them look worse.
They spend a lot of time trying to make Ricardo Diaz seem intimidating, and it never really comes off.
And that guy's a good actor too. Like, and he wasn't even doing a bad job at like, acting wise. It's just his
I love seeing him go crazy. It was just stupid.
It was so bland. He's just like, people were mean to me when I was a kid, and now I'm going to beat them up. Like, okay,
Yeah,
thanks,
that was a
dude.
bright spot. I loved the sheer pettiness of his character.
His backstory episode was one of the few, like, not horrible episodes. I will grant you that, but it was, you're supposed to make him into this big bad, and he's just some dude.
Now remind me, was that episode the same episode where they gave Eva Laurel a completely different haircut just so it was easier for the stunt double?
I didn't notice that. You'll have to check the tape on that one.
No. Like, she has the same hairstyle through all of this, except for one episode where it's a vastly different hairstyle.
I didn't know. I didn't notice that, but you're probably right.
Yeah, like, everything feels like, even the stuff that I do like, I realize that, no, wait a minute, I like that because they did it in the previous season and they did it better.
Yes.
Like,
I hit that myself. Like, I had that feeling of like, oh, this kind of reminds me of when Arrow was good. Oh, wait, no, it's still not good. I'm just nostalgic.
Yeah.
And the ending. Does anyone on Earth buy that Oliver is not going to be the Green Arrow again by the end of the premiere of next season?
Man, what a stupid cliffhanger. Like, it's just...
Like, there was no drama in that whatsoever. I was just like, yeah, okay, you're totally not the Green Arrow anymore, buddy. Sure.
It's, like... And then it's off in this cliffhanger, like, what's gonna happen? And then it's be like, oh, are we gonna do Arrow Max, like, where he's in prison? And it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I wondered that. I'm like, are they seriously trying to make us believe their next season is going to be that abandoned Supermax movie the Green Arrow is supposed to be in? Is that what this is?
And I'd be excited, except I know they're just going to fuck it up and ruin it after 2 episodes.
He's going to be out of jail by the end of the first episode. He will either be out of jail completely, or he will have found a way to leave jail and fight crime and then get back in his cell before anyone notices. Like,
plus, who's he going to fight in prison? All of his cool villains are gone.
Like, yeah, that's what they put him in prison, and they were like, oh, these guys are waiting to kill him. I'm like, no, they're not. They're dead.
Can we say just, like, the most important thing to come out of that season is Roy's back.
Oh.
Roy help Diggle.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, we got Speedy back for a little bit. That made me smile before we had the
Arsenal
whole...
man.
Yeah, before they randomly hacked them out of the show and then are going to, like, explain how they come back, or at least how Roy comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Speedy becomes Speedy again for, I don't know, like 4 episodes, and you're like, yay, Speedy's back, and then she's like, I can't do this anymore, I'm leaving. Like, what? Like,
Until her boy toy's in town, then it's all, like, all good.
Is it really because there's only one suit? Is that what it is? They have to share? Like, only one can be activated?
They had him in his stupid... Do you see him in his fucking trucker hat, where they had him in his, like, Red Hood and the Outlaws look?
Yeah.
Which, I was like, oh, man... This looks
No,
stupid.
Yeah, stop. Just stop.
You appreciate the nod, but it's like, you could have done something better.
Yeah.
Well, that look was dumb even in the comics. I'm like, trucker hat? Wow, okay, yeah, very superhero. Just like, and, I mean, the rest of the team also have stories, I guess. Like, but I don't really remember a lot of them.
I wanted to like the thing about Diggle, like, you know, I'm going to become the Green Arrow. Like, I was kind of almost on board with that, but they just kept, like, cock-teasing it the whole time, and were like, no, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Yes, he is. No, he's not. And now they're trying it with a cliffhanger, and I'm like, it's not even going to last till the end of the first episode.
I suppose we should talk... I suppose we should talk about the team splitting up, even though that rarely ever affects the show in any way.
Which time? They did it, like, 9 times.
Well,
I
the
swear
problem
to God,
is that
all Renee's dialogue, like, all right, maybe not every, but 95% of all of his lines of dialogue are, just because we're working with you doesn't mean we're friends. Like, they split up, and then they worked with him every night again anyway, and just kept saying, we're not your friends.
Well, you can't work in the same city with this and fight the same villain and not be on the same team. Like, you're gonna run into each other.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
almost like it was dumb to make a plot device about them splitting up so early in the season.
It makes no difference. Like, the show is no different except for that everyone has the same dialogue every episode.
Yeah,
and hey, Wild Dog, welcome to the Felicity Club of just being ruined as a character. Because all he ever does is bitches.
I really liked him when he first showed up, and now it's
Yep.
like, shut up, Renee.
And I love the fact that when Oliver goes on trial, it's like, guys, you know, he is only there because of me. And I'm like, oh, you're now having this realization that this is all your fault? Like,
Yeah.
it has been for a while.
Just in the nick of too late, like usual, Oliver. You know, like, Jesus. Yeah, it was a lot of bad writing. Tons of bad writing. The trying to make the kid a thing still. Can't stand him. Can't stand anything about him. Can't stand Elicity. Like, I want to like the side characters. Like, they almost did something interesting with Dinah, and then they just fumbled the ball again for no reason. Like, they just threw it all in trash. They're like, never mind.
And I'm supposed to feel bad when, like, Oliver takes out Wild Dog. Like, you hurt him and like you put him in the hospital. I'm like, Wild Dog tried to hit him with an axe. Like, I
told him to stand down.
Like,
and also, they put each other in the hospital, like, all the time. This is nothing new. Like,
but they treat it as a big,
fact,
like, we can't...
goddamn hospital room. They only have the one set, and they all end up in that bed. You know?
Yeah, and then, of course, everyone abandons Oliver at some point, and then Oliver is like, well, I gotta go back to basics. Like, that's when I was the best. Like, no, you're not. Like,
No,
I remember
not
season
when
1.
You were at basics. You were still just being Batman. And this whole thing of, I have to get everyone away from me and start over is just also lifted directly from Batman. He does this every 5 years, you know? Like,
you have to refine yourself or something.
Yeah.
And I would appreciate that if the show was trying to refine itself, but all it really is doing is trying to retread stuff and trying to find excuses to reuse old storylines.
Spinning its wheels is the best way to put it. They're just spinning the wheels in mud. You know, they're not going forward or backward. It's just, here, you've seen it. Look at this
like, it just feels like there's no writer on the staff that really gives a shit anymore about really they just want to be on the air and be like, well, it's not so bad that people will, like, stop watching, but, like, we're not really doing anything that innovative. And, I would appreciate, I'm like, you know what, I'd appreciate if you actually were worse so that you'd be a little more entertaining to watch instead of just fucking dull.
The thing is that, like, every once in a while, even when they do something right, you have no choice but to go back and be like, well, either the other shows or this show have done this better, so I'm still not impressed. Like, they had that big, awesome action scene at the end in the finale, right? And if this was, like, 3 years ago, I'd have been like, wow, that was a really great fight scene. But, like, now, after, the Nazi battle crossover, I'm like, yeah, okay, so they run around in a warehouse and they hit each other with sticks. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I totally just remembered the cliffhanger and some other stuff. So we have Lazarus pits again. That was something.
Do we though? Like,
wait, did they? What do you remind me? The last thing
it's when Nissa came back and they discovered there's 2 more Lazarus pits.
That's why I blanked it out. It was League of Shadows shit. Like I'm so done with that.
And now Quentin is like in need of a pit.
Oh Christ! Oh God! Yeah, that's right. Because you were like, yeah, he's gonna be evil Quentin.
Evil Quentin for evil daughter. It's gonna be so great.
Yeah. Okay, that's the word I'd use. Great. Sure.
Yeah, I think I might have a doctor's appointment for next the next season of Arrow. I don't think I'll be able to make it, guys.
6 seasons.
I
too much.
have no delusions.
Stick around for one more.
I'll watch it. It's going to happen, but I've accepted that there's very little hope it's going to be any good. I pretty much watch it because the crossovers force me to know what's going on, and even then, I only really cared because of Supergirl, and even Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Oh, I'll tell you, I remember the one episode I did like, where they had Human Target back again, and they had him give testimony on the stand. Like, I thought that was kind of interesting.
You know what was super weird about that? Friggin', you remember the Human Target TV show? The guy who played the Human Target was the other lawyer.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yes, that was so weird. So the Human Target was sitting across from the Human Target.
That's awesome.
Episode. It was so weird.
That's great.
And it made me realize that I'm like, wow, Mark Valley has not aged at all. Why the fuck isn't he just playing the Human Target?
Right.
You know? Like, why didn't you just bring him back and connect the shows? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also like the fact that, like, the cops versus the vigilantes, like, well, we can't accept vigilantes in this town. And I'm like, that made sense when the town was doing okay. But now that the town is being overtaken by another gang again, like, shouldn't we be back?
Supervillains, ninjas, and monsters are running rampant in the town, and they're like, we don't really need superheroes, though.
Oh yeah, they used that plot point when they gave Curtis a cop boyfriend, who was like, vigilantes are bad. Oh wait.
Well, I think they legit forgot Curtis was gay for a long time because it was like, oh wait, yeah, he should be in a relationship, I guess. Like,
I don't think they forgot. They were just romancing him and Vernay a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I seriously was wondering if that's what they were trying to do. Is like, are just Wild Dog and Curtis going to get it on? You know, but like,
that'd be interesting. And they don't.
That he was gay. I think it was just like, oh, we need a plot device that he can get mopey about. So give him a boyfriend and then take that boyfriend away from him immediately. Like that was pretty much where that went.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, guys. This was a disappointing season of Arrow, even for Arrow.
Even by Arrow's standards, it stunk like butt. Yes.
Yeah, it didn't stink like butt because it tried something and failed. It stank like butt because it just took a shit on you.
It just didn't care. Like, it took the character, was it Mike Emerson plays Caden James, and that guy is a phenomenal actor, and he is utterly wasted. In like, he's just like, I have a sad backstory about a dead son. Oops, I'm dead. Like, okay, thanks for nothing. You know, like, it ended up meaning nothing at the end. Like, they built up that whole, someone framed Arrow so Caden would go after him, and they're like, did you think that mattered? Ha ha ha, screw you.
Yeah. So while we're on the disappointment track, should we talk about Supergirl season 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
Guys, this one hurt a little bit because I really liked Supergirl season 2, and I was excited because I watched it after you guys recommended it so much. I was like, "Oh my god, this was such a great show!" And then got all excited for season 3. Like, this time I'll be caught up and I'll be able to talk about it. And now it's like, oh no.
Yeah, this was easily the weakest Supergirl season. It fell victim to the season 3 doldrums that all CW shows.
It was confusing. It gave me a lot of what I wanted, but it didn't satisfy me.
To me, the character moments were great. There were a lot of really good character development moments, but the plot stunk for the season.
Yeah. Like, it's
the
very
villains
interesting.
were so underwhelming. Like the evil Kryptonians, like everything about them, I was just like, ugh. Like, I was really invested in Sam when they were doing like the whole Unbreakable origin thing when she's discovering her powers, and I'm like, this is all very cool. And then when she becomes Rain, like the whole thing goes down the toilet. Like, the suit is dumb. Her, like, I'm the Terminator acting thing is dumb. You know, like, and she's the best of the evil, like, by far. You know, it's bad. And, like, then they have, like, the evil priestess who I swear to God was played by Sarah Douglas, Ursa from Superman 2, when she first showed up. And then I guess they just couldn't get her back. So she was just some lady, to the point that I didn't even know who the hell she was supposed to be until, like, 2/3 into the season. I was like, wait, that's the evil priestess? Who the hell are you? And her two henchmen were like, you are stunt women. That's you were not paid to do lines. You were just here to walk around and hang on the wire. You have the certification for the wire rig.
I love the fact that the evil priestess Kryptonians come down in the finale, and then one of them goes, "She actually cares for these humans," and I'm like, "Don't you even dare!
Yeah,
don't you even dare compare to these guys."
No, you haven't earned. Like Peter Griffin, you haven't earned what she's earned.
Yeah. I was like, no, that is, no.
That line might have been good if she was still Sarah frickin' Douglas, but she was just Rando Girl. And the whole thing about Argo City, like, yeah, I know Argo City is a thing in the comics, but it's still stupid.
I hate that. I actually don't like that at all.
The way they handled it was even worse, too. That, like, okay, we recast your mom to be 20 years younger for no good reason. Like the cameo, you know, who's totally still alive, even though her hologram aged with you. You know, and it's like nothing about Argo City makes sense in like even the slightest bit. It's right there, and they had no idea that each other were there, and that no one on Argo City was even vaguely curious if the escape pods they sent actually got where they were going. Like, yeah, man, there's no reason to rebuild ships and leave. Fuck it. We'll just starve here. It's fine.
That's where I realized the season wasn't working for me, was that, like, oh, she met her mom and they're having an emotional moment, and I don't really care, like, at all. Like, something is really wrong here where I don't feel anything about this.
And that was weird because I really was emotionally invested in, like, John and his dad. I was invested in friggin' Sam and her daughter's relationship, but Supergirl and her mom, I was just like, shut up. I don't care. Like,
also, like, don't give Supergirl a mopey arc for the beginning where she has to work her way back up to being plucky. Like,
yes, bad call. And then, like, by the end, it was rendered all moot by what's happened to Mon-El anyway. And don't get me wrong.
Oh my God, Mon-El.
I actually like who Mon-El has become as a character, but where he fits in the narrative is ridiculous.
I think every character had parental things this season.
Yeah, in some capacity or other, whether it was their parents or being a parent, there was a
like with Wind when his dad died and sent the assassin after him. He had to go through that.
They pulled out of their ass, despite the fact that there are totally like characters that could have worked with.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the breakup between Maggie and Alex was, I thought, handled pretty well. Like, oh, at least they broke up for a legitimate reason.
I will give them credit. I said this to Edwin at some point, that I give them credit that they made the reason that her and Maggie break up is that she wants kids and Maggie didn't, and they didn't immediately forget that that's what they said, and that they actually adapted the whole she wants to be a mom into her character thing. I applaud them for that. That doesn't mean I gave a shit about 1 minute she spent with Ruby, but I still applaud that they were consistent.
Yeah, it's a thing that works on paper, but somehow in execution it doesn't really come off, and that's what a lot of the season is like. Also, Lena Luthor has a friction with Supergirl for a reason that I don't remember, but it's pretty
cool. Made the kryptonite.
It's dumb. It was like basically Supergirl didn't trust any Luthor with kryptonite, and instead of just like sitting down and talking with Lena and saying it's really dangerous, you should get rid of it, she like sent Guardian to go destroy it or steal it or something, and it was just like incredibly out of character for everyone involved. And it's like, there is no reason for this fight. It was just like, people were like, hey, I like them better than any boyfriend you've ever put her with. And they were like, well, I guess we'll just get Lena away from her then.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would introduce an interesting dynamic if, like, I can't trust Supergirl, but, you know, Kara, you are still my best friend, except that, Kara Danvers doesn't really interact with Lena Luthor at all.
Yeah, not anymore. Like, she used to in season 1, I guess, but, like, not for a long time, and it's just exclusively Supergirl. And then like Kara is in an elevator with Lena, and Lena treats her like shit too because she mentioned Supergirl. Like none of it makes sense. You know?
Right. Also, Jimmy and Lena are dating, which is not as awful as I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's true. They actually have some measure of chemistry with each other, which is more than I can give a lot of their relationships in this show.
Also, at least some of their like political stuff that they're handling this season, which was not great either. Like they have like a gun debate between Lena and Jimmy that goes nowhere. Like
they do this thing where they kind of just straw man the argument so that they can come to the conclusion that they do, and everyone feels morally correct about it. But I was like, that's too complicated of an issue for you to just
That was the episode the DEO lost all their guns.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, the DEO doesn't, like, their guns are on the street, like this military hardware. And then, Jimmy's like, man, we gotta get the shit off the street. And Lena's like, well, I have a sidearm for protection. And it's like, you want Jimmy to go, that's not what we're talking about. Like, that's a whole other thing that you're talking about.
It's so much more complex than the 42 minutes of tween dramedy they have to explore it, you know? And you're just like, guys, no, you are not the people to have this discussion. Just stop. You know, this is way too complicated for you guys to just be like, well, this character believes this and this character believes this, and we're going to put our hands on our hips and insist about it. You're like, no, bad. Don't stop. You know?
Also, we have Wynn developing future technology, I guess, to a point where he can actually go to the future and be helpful, because all the technology is based off of his designs or something. Yeah. Like, what?
Wait, Wynn is there, like, Da Vinci is like, he made this sketch, and it was, like, the forefront of everything.
Yeah, this fucking napkin is in the Smithsonian, and I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like, again, I like what they do with the character development. I like the idea that Wynn was like, I've gone as far as I can go and I can't help people anymore and I feel kind of down about it. And finding this new meaning and purpose in his life. On paper, that's fine. The plot and how he connects to it is stupid. You know, they're like, oh, well, Brainiac can't be the smart guy anymore, so you have to be the smart guy and go to the future because you got a reduced contract. Like,
wait, no. Yeah. I think that established that Brainiac is sticking around since Wynn is now gone.
Yeah.
Brainiac can't survive in the future.
Can we talk about Brainiac and the Legion of Superheroes too? Because I was very disappointed.
I didn't hate them, but I hated his makeup, and I thought the best decision they ever made was when he was like, yeah, I just have a hologram that makes me look human now. Like, that
Why is he blue?
Oh, well,
because he's part Brainiac. He's
supposed to be pale green, but
he's supposed to be green.
Everything with Brainiac skews blue on Supergirl for some reason. I don't know why. It just does. Because remember his other offshoot minion was blue as well? Like, I don't know. I forget her friggin' name. But
it was like Serenity, Trinity.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, she was also blue because they wanted to make her look like friggin' Mystique, basically. And I think he kind of shares some of her makeup look, but it just doesn't work. Like, his dumb wig is bad, and his big forehead is bad. And, like, when he just turned into a human, I was like, oh, thank God. You know?
Also, if you're going to try and get me excited for a Legion of Superheroes crossover, maybe have more than 3 of them, and not have one of them be a dude we've already seen and I'm already tired of, and that's Mon-El. Like,
yeah, I like, they showed all the sleeping tanks, and I was like, oh shit, there's like 20 of those. I wonder who's in there. I was like, well, none of our business is apparently the answer.
Not even for the finale when they come back do they crack a couple of those pods open.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like,
I mean, I didn't mind Saturn Girl, but I mean, Saturn Girl's always boring, so not being terrible is about as high a bar as I expected her to hit. You know,
and of course, this Brainiac can't fight, which is dumb. Like, give him something to fight. Like,
yeah,
you can
like,
do
how
stuff.
cool would it have been if he did, like, the whole, like, transform into the big, like, battle mech thing that he actually can do? Like, no, let's not do that. Let's just have him sit in a chair and, like, quote, like, Bon Jovi songs. It'll be great. He doesn't get pop culture. He. And another thing I do have to say, the finale was super weak in Supergirl. Like
they're just going through the motions.
Like, one thing I have noticed from as the seasons have gone on all of these CW shows is that, like, there is no bar anymore for, like, being impressive. Like, there was a point where, like, okay, the first couple seasons of all these shows, everything was very small scale, and then, like, when True Kryptonians, for example, are beating each other up in the streets in the finale of the first season of Supergirl, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool, and then in the second season, there's like a bunch of superheroes flying around and stuff, and there's battles in the city and spaceships and stuff. I feel like this finale was literally a bunch of people in a cave just, like, play fighting with each other.
Yeah, it sucked. Like, the actual part that was fun about it was them averting natural disasters beforehand.
Yeah, and like that was like literally the only thing cool about that. It was like, oh look, Supergirl's mom puts on a costume and they do super stuff together. That's nice. And then after that happens in the first 5 minutes, and then the rest of the episode is just them sitting around waiting until they go to this cave where they fail and do their literal equivalent of Superman flies around and turns the Earth back. Like that's what they did.
Right, they did hit a reset button. How did they even do that?
It was
I
forgot, but it's some magic Kryptonian bullshit that she did.
Yeah.
I literally said to myself that she used the Omega-13 device from Galaxy Quest.
Yes! Activate the Omega-13.
Yeah, and like, I feel like they redo this fight scene, and it's like, okay, we got 6 people in costumes on one side and 6 more on the other side, and they just run at each other. And they go, oh! And they, like, push each other around and whip their capes. And I'm like, did they run out of money? Is that, like, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, okay, every person in this fight has superpowers. Is that why they just look like they're having a backyard brawl? Because they're, because no one's really using their superpowers. They're just pushing each other around. Like, I don't know, but it was bad. I thought it was incredibly underwhelming.
Agreed.
I liked... like John and his dad and the whole, like, the fact that he was the original Martian Manhunter from the Justice League cartoon, nice nod. I liked all that. And that was actually all, like, very heartwarming. The whole him struggling with, like, alien Alzheimer's and his losing his personality. And, like, that was sincere and good and well written. And I gave a shit until, of course, he turned into a CGI effect and melted into the rock. But, I mean, up until that point, I was on board with that story. But, like, everything that had to do with the, like, rain and that was just, I did not care.
Boys. Yeah, any of the other side stories, I'm pretty sure I just don't really remember. Also, they have Jimmy do the I Am Iron Man thing near the end.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what that accomplished.
Yeah, because he's been revealing himself to more and more people this season, which I just thought was him being a dumbass, but apparently that's him just wanting to be recognized as a superhero.
Yeah, because representation matters.
It's funny, I felt like that was the message they were trying to get for, but they fumbled it really bad, and it just kind of came out like Jimmy was like an attention hog. And
Me too, I thought, like...
He was just kind of... like it did not come off at all like it was probably intended. It just came off like he was like, well, all my friends are superheroes. I won't be a superhero.
Right. Like, cause I'm like, you do realize this will make it all but impossible for you to do your superhero stuff, right?
Not really,
Like,
because
his regular
he's
job.
dating his boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm sure Lena Luthor, really likes the publicity that comes with, oh, your boyfriend's a superhero? Like, I'm sure that made her week much easier,
Yeah. Oh boy. Any other last minute thoughts on Supergirl before we move on?
I can't really think of anything.
Ed, how about you?
I don't appreciate ending it on a believe in yourself and you'll overcome. I hate those endings.
The Doctor
oh yeah, if you just believe hard enough.
Yeah, the Doctor Who, everyone thinks really good thoughts at the Doctor, so he wins victory.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's one step above like the I win because of friendship or whatever.
Clap your hands. Clap your hands and believe.
Yeah, the Tinkerbell effect.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it does feel like they are making these shows for kids, but then there's like these plot lines that are like, wait a minute, this is way too complex for any kid to actually get. So I don't know what your audience is. But
I think they don't know what their audience is sometimes. Like,
yeah.
I'm willing to chalk this one up to just season 3 doldrums, though. Like, I'm not out on Supergirl yet. Like, I just thought this season was very muddled and lost.
Yeah. Oh, and how about less shipping next season, too? Like, if Mon-El could just be gone forever, please, and then maybe...
See, I don't hate
not...
Mon-El, but I do think the on-again, off-again crap with them is just like they made him into an asshole that it's like, oh, you're married, but you're totally still into this girl that you haven't seen in 7 years to the point that you're going to ruin your marriage. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's...
And Center Girl is, like, all cool about it. I'm like, don't be cool about it. Be a little mad.
Like, hold him responsible. Be mad at him, damn it.
Mad at him for what? He didn't do anything.
Yeah, but he totally wanted to. Like,
yeah, and he didn't.
Yeah, but it's because he didn't really have the opportunity to. It wasn't because he chose not to. It's not like the opportunity presented himself and he was like, "No, I'm going to be a good person." He just didn't get his shot at it. She kept shutting him down. That's all.
Yeah, I was not appreciative of that. Anyway, should we move on to Flash?
Oh, yeah, more stink.
We'll end on the upper. We'll end on an up note.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So we don't.
But Flash,
it's a sad day when Legends is the upper.
Yeah. Oh boy, we'll get to Legends. But Flash this season also. I mean, it's. I think I don't know. Is it better than the other ones? Like, I feel like it's a little bit better.
It was
Arrow
more enjoyable to watch.
It's a devil's race to the bottom with Arrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with that because, like, sometimes I find Flash mildly more endearing because of the characters, but the plot can be dumber than Arrow. So it's a real coin flip on that one.
Yeah, the plot lines, including like the Thinker, where like the most well thought out supervillain, where he is just unbelievably smart. When you track back his plan, you kind of go, "Wait a minute, what?" Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I went up and down about the Thinker so much throughout the season because, like, he kept wildly fluctuating from, hey, that's actually not too bad of a villain. He's a decent actor. He did some cool stuff to them there. And being, like, utterly ridiculous and nothing he does makes sense. And I just couldn't understand if it was just the writing staff not being in sync or what. But it was like he was 2, possibly 3 entirely different characters over the course of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the end, when he does that, like, hallway, rampage against, I don't remember, I guess it was like an Argus headquarters or whatever.
Yeah, it was Argus.
That was awesome. I'm like, I like
that.
You have a guy who has a million superpowers show off that he has a million superpowers. And then they totally forget that he can do that. Like, like he just goes back to being some dumbass in a chair that's just like easily bested by Cisco and Barry.
Mm-hmm. I also like that, like, he has everything well thought out except for Flash, like, not defeating a villain at some point. Like, oh, how did you fuck that up? Flash was supposed to defeat her while I got away. And I'm like, don't you have like 1,000 superpowers? Why didn't you just take care of her?
Yeah,
Like,
it's so dumb. Yeah, like, I mean, I wanted so bad to like that moment in the finale where, like, Barry has his, like, Princess Bride, like, drop your sword Wesley moment where he gets out of the chair and the Thinker thinks that he's been defeated, but he's wrong, and he, like, totally shits his pants. Like, that moment is great, but everything around it, you're like, wait, how did we get here? How did we earn this victory moment for Barry? Like, he didn't do anything, you know?
yeah,
Girlfriend, like, I really have no idea where I stand with that. Like, I spent a full, I don't know, like half of the season convinced that she was going to realize that he kept erasing her memory and that she was going to have like some huge blowout about it, but it never really comes. Like, she gets mildly annoyed about it and then she leaves, but that's it.
yeah.
They just let her. She was totally complicit in all these crimes, but they're like, well, whatever.
At some point, it becomes too much, I guess. Speaking of, what's her name? Gypsy has basically takes the bow out for their season because like they can't make their long distance thing work, except for the fact that then both of them can teleport whenever they want.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of like, I don't. But no, like, it's not long distance. Like, both of them can teleport at will. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
it's just she wanted to leave the show because she didn't do anything, basically.
Yeah.
Like, she wanted another job that actually involved working, And it's a shame because they tied in, like, Danny Trejo with that story. And, like, the only reason Danny Trejo had even shown up is because he thought he was going to get to play Lobo. But then that dipshit Mike Bay had the rights to Lobo for some movie that he's never going to make. So they're just like, he's Breacher now. He is another alien bounty hunter, leather boy biker. Like, he's still playing Lobo. He just isn't Lobo. And, like, then they were like, oh, well, now Gypsy's gone, and we have to get rid of Danny Trejo, too, because there's no reason for him to be here. Like, it was a total waste.
Yeah. Also, we got our first Kevin Smith crossover with Jay and Silent Bob this season.
Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob are canonically in the Arrowverse.
Yep, that's a thing that happened.
It's sadly that's one of the highlights. As low of a bar as that is.
I thought it was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I mean. It was a highlight. As stupid as their cameo was, you're like, well, at least I laughed. Like, and another thing, like, I do like Ralph Dibny, but like, my God, squandering of potential. Just completely screwing the pooch at the end there with his character for no reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just like, and then they go into that whole Matrix thing of fighting inside Thinker's brain, and they have the whole Agent Smith fight, which is like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, I was like, that's what I mean about like when Barry breaks out of the Matrix and like stands up and he's like, how can you open it? Oh no, this is impossible. Like, that's cool. But then you think back and you're like, wait, how did we get here? They were in the Matrix a minute ago. There was like really goofy, like Twin Peaks dream logic going on. And I was so lost in that finale. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Not even, Captain Cold could get me excited again. Like, I like new Captain Cold find his way back, but I'm still like, yeah, I mean, this is just like you bringing back Captain Cold when shit is getting boring again. Like,
yeah, it was. He never felt so much like a rating spike as he did that time. Like he was so clearly like, well, the ratings are down and people are pissed. Put Captain Cold in it. That'll make everybody happy.
Mm-hmm. And it did.
And it did.
Yeah.
It did work. I guess so. But yeah, it's bad. Flash was dumb this year. Very dumb. For a season that centered around how smart the villain was, it was incredibly dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like the whole making Killer Frost a separate personality that we have to kind of make bargain deals with sort of thing. Like, I wish that they would...
I don't know.
Thought they would do a little more with it.
I thought that could be a good idea on paper, but the way they handled it was so dumb. Like, from going from the, Killer Frost is the cool one, and they talk to each other about how cool the Killer Frost is in front of Caitlyn, and she gets jealous, and, like, the whole, I can't use my powers whenever I would actually need to because reasons. Like, it got so dumb and so...
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't like anything about that. Like I respect that they were like, hey, Caitlyn hasn't done shit for years except pine over various boyfriends, so let's have her, like, be a character. Good idea. Not what they did with her, though.
Yeah. I'm surprised they haven't brought Ronnie back at some point, like, to fuck with her again.
I'm surprised he wasn't on Earth X, to be perfectly honest with you. But another thing, fucking Amunet Black and how she connects to Caitlyn's story. I fucking hate Amunet Black so much. I hate her so fucking much. It's ridiculous.
Side note, I always thought your hatred of Amunet was ridiculous and unwarranted. But then I started watching Battlestar Galactica, and I realized it was Starbuck, and now my hatred is, like, probably on par with yours.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had no idea that was Starbuck, and then when he realized it just, like, blew him away.
It made me hate Amunet so much. She's so bad.
Wait a minute, you're a good actor? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like, why did they tell her to do the British accent? Like, she is not British, and she cannot do one. Like it is like Mary Poppins bad, like the chimney sweep friggin' guy, oh, well, governor, like, it's the
chim,
worst.
Chimney, chim chim chiroo.
Yeah, like it is that bad, and her character is so annoying and pointless, and, like, everything she does is like, oh, I'm going to step in and make a mess now. Oh, I'm leaving because it got difficult. Like, yeah, all right, that works once. You can't do that every single time you show the fuck up. Like, get a character arc, I beg you.
Boy.
With her it's this snake eye. Like, what the hell that guy? Like, all of a sudden we're helping Amunet Black get her evil criminal organization and suitcase full of metal jigsaw pieces back from Snake Eye guy, and I'm like, where are the stakes? I'm like, this is a superhero show, right? Like, you do have a supervillain somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that they put Flash in jail for a little bit and actually dealt with that for a couple episodes. Like, that was
lasted longer than I thought it would, but it's still peaked out. Like I love how they're just like, oh wait, DeVoe is still alive. Let's never follow up on that.
They mentioned in the background that.
I think they did do a throwaway line that, like, Dibney had to turn back into DeVoe to answer some questions or something, but, like, it is not in any way convincing that, like, oh, this guy who's supposed to be dead comes back to life and then disappears immediately.
Oh, also, we get cute cameos this season by what turns out to be Barry and Iris's daughter from the future.
Oh, yeah. Did she make, like, a second Flashpoint? I think she made a second Flashpoint.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Oh, good.
Like, I'm because she comes in at the end like, hey, I wasn't actually supposed to affect anything while I'm here, but I kind of did, so you have experience with fucking up the timeline, right? Cause,
I think she's supposed to be Excess from the Legion, or at least that's who she's going to be, regardless of what her actual, like, backstory ends up is.
Sure.
But
never...
Go ahead.
They never brought back the whole Barry's writing Legion script on the fucking walls. Like, they never brought that back in any significant way.
Yeah.
So
is that what he was writing?
Yeah, I think the writers just forgot that happened. I think the writers forget everything that happens in the front half of the seasons now. They just don't care.
And
I feel like the writers change completely every couple episodes, because it feels like what we focus on, what's important to the narrative, and people's motivations change.
Especially with Flash, like the tone gives you whiplash and how it, like, switches so drastically. Like one episode we're doing the goofy bachelorette party, and then, like, the next episode, like, Ralph is dead, and you're like, guys, you can't do that. Like.
Hey, and
right.
I did appreciate that we finally figured out where This House is Bitchin' came in.
This house of bitchin'. Where did that come in?
When Barry and
The daughter came in and said it.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah,
that was
that
worth
was
the whole
worth it.
season.
Well, and they did call back to it with the like, I never killed anyone, but like, I feel like they completely forgot a lot of the throwaway stuff they put out there. They just said it to say it, and they were like, well, if we get to do anything about it, great, but if not, oh well. Like, they don't care. You know?
Also, Harry doing the whole flowers from Algernon thing was interesting.
I didn't care about that either. I hate the Council of Harrys. I hate the Council of Harrys with like a fiery passion. Like, it gets dumber every time they do it. Like, the first...
See, I kind of like it.
They were the smart Harrys, it was bad enough, but then he was like, here's the Council of Dumbass Harrys, and
They're not
It's like the
dumbass.
Council of Ricks from Rick and Morty.
They're not dumbasses. They're just eccentric.
Yeah, whatever. They're dumb.
Hi, I'm Cyborg Harry, and I am Australian for like no reason.
Yeah, like they had different accents for no reason. It's like, I am German now because I am smart. Like, okay.
Oh, hey.
Like, what the hell? Like, it was bad. It was just filler. Like, it was so blatantly, like, we need to fill 8 minutes this episode. Let's do that.
Well, I like that. Obviously, every other version of the DC universe, like all the other Earths, just like in the comics, are all dealt around one theme.
Yes!
Like they're
yeah, this is Australian Mad Max Earth, you know? This is... Yeah, it's so bad. It's stupid. Stupid.
Oh, man.
Stupid humans with your stupid minds.
Okay, should we move on from Flash? Anyone have any last-minute thoughts?
No, just that it sucked.
All right. Should we talk about, okay, what's up next? Black Lightning or Legends? Which
Legends, so then we leave with Black Lightning.
Okay. I loved Legends this season. I don't give a fuck. I loved the fact that they lean into, we're terrible at our jobs. Like, we're really bad at what we do. Like, and they kind of lean real hard into that. And
ever since season 2 started, the lack of fucks that Legends gives about itself is its most saving grace, consistently.
Yeah. Like, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
I was disappointed in the finale. I was annoyed by how it played out, but, like, not the way I was annoyed with the other ones, you know? Like, because my thing was this. Like, they keep building it up throughout the season. You got friggin' ISIS on the team, right? They never call her ISIS, and I figured that was because, you know, the CBS TV rights or whatever. But, like, throughout the season, they kept talking about how, like, we've got to get all the totems together, and once all the totems are together, they'll create this champion of good that will fight Moloch or whatever, you know? And I had convinced myself that, this is how she finishes becoming ISIS, because she only had, like, one of her 7 powers when she shows up. So I'm like, okay, that's how she gets the other powers from the other amulets, and then she'll be the thing that they summon to Moloch at the end. Like, that's why they brought her here, you know. Why else is she in the fucking season if not this, right? You know, so when it was fucking Bebo, I was just like, are you fucking shitting me right now? You know, like, it's not that I can't laugh at a giant plush toy pile driving a demon. I can. It's funny. I was really disappointed that it was not actually just ISIS. Like they didn't just bite the bullet and do that. Like, I thought they would do something really cool, and it was just like, nope, troll. You know?
I love the fact that they keep giving people like the totems, and they kind of run out of reasons for people to have them. Like, here, Ray, you get water. Like,
for no reason. Like, I mean, with Heatwave, it worked. I actually liked that he got the fire totem and became the fucking Human Torch. Like, that worked. You know, I thought it was dumb that he like immediately was like, "Well, I'm never doing that again." Like, why? It was awesome.
Yeah,
you know? But yeah, then the others, they were just like, well, we think Sarah can work with Death, but everything else would just throw it at a dartboard.
We're all pure maidens, so we're good.
Yeah,
I even like Sarah as the captain, and also her.
I like her a lot better than Rip as the captain.
Oh, definitely.
A lot better.
I like Rip as this fucking bureaucrat that keeps like kind of fucking up and even losing control of his own company.
They never
that's
explained that ever. Like, I kept waiting for them to explain how he went from Dr. Who-Little traveling through time in his TARDIS and his space duster, to nerdy little yes man, to a clone, I think she turned out to be, and I was like, we never get any explanation about how the time agency restructured itself and how he ended up a toady on the bottom of it if he was the only one left.
Also, Ava becomes a more interesting character and foil / love interest for Sarah.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe they're doing this and making this whole thing work.
Ava and Sarah also have more chemistry than any of Kara's boyfriends.
Yeah. Well,
I did appreciate the fact that Ava like got her backstory, found out she was a clone, and like even had the line of "How many before me?" and he gave her a number.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Like,
yeah, that's another weird with Legends where they'll just toss in really dark, fucked up stuff, and then they'll just pogo stick past it. Well, that's done. Whee!
Yeah.
They don't care. I mean, it's fuck. Stein died in the beginning of the year or halfway through the year or whatever, and they're just whatever. Down the water slide, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, they introduced Wally. Wally joins the team, which is fun.
Didn't he leave, though, at the end? Didn't they, decide, well, this is too hard to figure out how to get someone that powerful consistently on the team. Bye, Wally!
Yeah, they did have him, I don't know if he was going to take a break or if he was just going to be, actually gone for a while, but I think they did have him exit at the very end. But yeah, that is the problem when you have anyone with super speed or that powerful of a power on the team. Well, you have a team of guys, but only you could really solve all of these problems with just this guy.
Yeah, well, that was the Firestorm problem for the longest time, is that Firestorm could literally alter reality, and they just kept forgetting that he could do it in all the situations that it would come up. He does it, I think, exactly once, maybe twice. Like with the nuke, he turns the nuke into jelly beans. That he does that, I know that, and he might do that to something else later. But other than that, he's just the Human Torch for the whole.
He did that to one of the meteorites for what's his face?
Oh yeah, in the crossover, he did. Yeah. Oh yeah, twice, exactly twice. Firestorm used his full power, and they just couldn't think of anything to do with it.
Well, I do love the fact that I can say without any irony that or exaggeration that I get to watch Kid Flash team up with Elvis Presley to fight ghosts. I'm okay, yeah, I'm down for this.
I watched that episode and I was so irate that I was like, you could not get one Elvis impersonator, not one in the millions of Elvis impersonators who make their living doing an impression of Elvis. You had to get this buffoon who couldn't sound anything like him. That was your plan. One of the most iconic voices in pop culture. And they're like, don't even get a guy who can even try to do an Elvis impression. I accept I accept when they're like, okay, here's this guy who's Al Capone. Not everybody knows what Al Capone looks like. It's not like there's a wide pool of actors of people who are like, I'm going to play Al Capone when I grow up, But there are literally so many Elvis impersonators. Any Elvis impersonator in a Vegas showroom would have been better than that guy. Any single one of them. Couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with it. He's like, my name's Elvis Presley. No. No, it isn't.
I like their Barack Obama young version.
Tried to do an impression of Obama, he's Grodd has him lifted up, and he's like, "Let's not get it twisted." It was bad, but at least he tried. The Elvis guy has clearly never heard of Elvis. He had no idea who Elvis was. They just handed him the script and he read it.
Yeah, I just love a show where at any point oh shit guys, we all hands on deck, Barack Obama got kidnapped by Gorilla Grodd, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm watching a superhero show.
Was it was so funny. I remember someone said to me before the season started, here's the list of random pop culture icons they're going to meet. And I thought, really, they're going to meet Obama? I'm like, that's going to be terrible. They're going to fumble that so hard. By the time it happened, it was so not the goofiest thing they had done. And I was just like, this is fine.
Yeah. It's all about perspective. Yeah, I forget a lot of because this one actually wrapped up a while ago. It was the first one to wrap up for the series, so I actually kind of forget a lot of these sub-characters, like the side plots and stuff.
How
do
about
remember saying
murderous, demented Daddy Dark?
Oh yeah, you know what I love about Legends? It gives a chance for villains that should have been great on other shows to
actually be
shine
great.
on Legends.
Yeah. Damien Dark is one of the bright
I
spots.
fucking loved Damien Dark lying on the floor next to a corpse, talking to it, and having an existential
Yes.
dad crisis. It was
He's
beautiful.
like,
Yeah, how really twisted up inside he was about well, it is my destiny to destroy the world, but also I'm a dad. like that
Yeah.
actually really worked. I did like that a lot, and I did remark at the time, especially in the finale when she shows back up after having been there for a while. Can Helen of Troy just stick around and be their fake Wonder Woman? Because I like her better than half of the crew.
Oh yeah,
boy.
dude. Helen of Troy was low-key
it's
probably
so
the
funny.
best thing.
Like the episode she shows up in initially is dumb as shit. I thought it was kind of cool that they hint that she's a meta that makes men go crazy, and they dropped her on Themyscira to solve that problem. That was really cool. And then when she comes back post Wonder Woman movie, and it's yeah, she's just one of those Amazons now. I was like, she could just stay. That'd be fine. Because what is it I love Heatwave and I love Sarah and I all of Heatwave, I guess, but as the list goes on, you're just yeah, I could fire it.
Yeah. Did Ray get a storyline? Oh no, yeah, he actually liked what's her name, Damien's daughter.
Yeah, and he was like Damien Dark's bro at the end, giving him therapy sessions.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that he's got him tied to the chair and he
Now, Damien, can I
these,
call you Damien?
existential questions about his parenting.
Mm-hmm.
So can I call you
It's
Damien? No, call me Dark. Okay, fair enough.
All right, fair enough. Yeah.
They pretend Ray pretends to scream or whatever. You're it's just
Yeah, he's I gotta make it look good, I love
that
when
was fun. That was
hey,
great.
you didn't choke me. We're really making progress.
I love this little chemistry he has with the villain here, because it's just it's fun. They're connecting on some level, and I mean, Steel and Vixen are still doing their thing. That gets wrapped up at the end of this season, which
Doesn't at least one of them leave?
Vixen leaves.
Vixen leaves. Yeah.
Vixen leaves. Yeah,
She goes to fulfill her destiny of having a child with someone.
Yeah, I liked Steel, and I even liked his relationship with her, I guess. But at the same time, they never do anything that matters. The entire plot should theoretically revolve around Vixen, but it never really felt like it did. She was just there,
I did enjoy the time loop episode with not Isis.
Yeah.
So actually
that was pretty
why
good.
she loves the group. She's
Where
seen
she
them die
runs
so
up
many
to
times.
Ray and she's like, Hedgehog Day, and he's like, what? You said if I told you Hedgehog Day, you would get it.
No, she went to steal
you
for that.
get it.
And then when he finally does
do you mean
get
Groundhog
it, that was
Day?
great. I did enjoy that, but
I love Groundhog. Oh, Groundhog Day. Oh, I got you. Oh, I know what to do.
and then
How
we
many times have you
instantly
done this?
understood. Yeah, oh, we're trapped in a time loop. Shit.
Well, it's it's always that fantasy you have when you're watching a show and they go through a trope and you just want someone to go, oh, I've watched this episode of CSR or of Buffy or Supernatural. I know what to do.
Yeah, they do that on Legends a lot, where they're just no, I'm pop culturally aware of how to deal with this.
Yeah, I even like the big fight they have in the old West town at the end too, of just everything coming together.
You could totally tell though that they just were all right, get all the extras you can get and just every costume in the costume department. Like Moloch suddenly has Viking henchmen because they had Viking costumes lying around. Yeah, he brought some Centaurians and some pirates as well because reasons.
I appreciated. Oh, go on.
No, I like that level of cheesiness, obviously this was just all the costumes they had left over from previous episodes, and we're just going to use them all here.
Yeah,
but
they do that a lot.
Ahead
Where
with
they
your point,
go back to time periods that they've been, so they can reuse costumes they already made.
No, because the whole freezing costumes, all that. I liked it when the Legends had a mission to get John Noble to say lines because John Noble voices Mollis.
That was funny. That was the real John Noble is just playing John Noble as well as Moss at the same time.
God, that's funny.
I need you to say these lines. Don't ask me why. Peter Jackson, just wants to change some stuff up.
Yeah. He's just going to change a little bit. Like,
I was
okay,
actually shocked that they got the real celebrity for that real celebrity cameo, but I'm pretty sure it only happened because they already hired him to be Moss. He was already around.
Like, oh, you want me to actually be on set for this one? I can't just literally phone in my lines?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was expecting a George Lucas situation where it's like, well, there's a guy with a beard, just pretend. Oh, we're in a dumpster. Yeah, it's just like that scene in the movie. I hate you.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget that in the Groundhog's Day episode, we get to see Heatwave's secret passion of writing erotic novels.
I actually really love that. I love that she just tells him at the end too. She's like, the ending is wrong. I want him to accept his new family and find happiness. And he's just flabbergasted, what?
How dare you? Get out of my brain.
The fact that he had so many security devices set up to protect his dinky little typewriter and ream of fan fiction was the greatest thing in the world.
Oh boy, so funny. I even what was it, Weibo or so, them coming back. I thought that was a pretty fun callback. They made him up so they can use him as much as they want. They made the damn toy, so you're gonna look at him. Right. I also love the whole think of your destroyer Ray, no, stop. I can't help it. It just popped in there.
Ghostbusters reference, yeah. That almost saved that for me. How mad I was that it's so really Isis is never going to become Isis. She's just going to stand there. Okay.
All right. Any last minute thoughts on Legends before we move on to Black Lightning?
I'm glad Constantine is back, or at least.
Oh yeah,
and we're supposed to be getting Swamp Thing too, right? Next year.
Yeah, he's supposed to have live action appearances, though I'm not 100% sure how many of them he's going to appear on. But yeah, Constantine is supposed to be a regular next year, not just a guy who guest stars once in a while.
Yeah,
and that was a really good
decision. I can't tell you
that if you need to have a snarky British guy on the team, I would take John any day over him without question.
Right. I can't tell you how much I love that it ended that episode with him playing D&D with some of the other.
Yes, that was friggin' amazing. I love that. And I love how he was so incredulous to it at first. He's like, I am a warlock. Why would I play a warlock?
Right. Why would I role play that? That doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense. I am a bloody warlock. I love that.
I'm gonna be a dwarf. Oh man.
And I did love how he got on with Sarah. I really liked how he was like, no, I seduced you, and she's like, you wish. I was controlling.
Okay. All right, so Black Lightning, guys. So for me, this was a legitimate bright spot.
Yes, thank God.
In the CW verse. Man, the only thing I'm nervous about is that this seems to be the trend with the CW shows, is that they seem to be pretty good in the beginning before they lose interest and just start to fucking right in place for a while. So, but until that happens, we got a good season of Black Lightning to contend with.
It's funny. I think the fact that they were initially trying to sell it to another network is why it's so good. Because they had no choice but to isolate it and concentrate on writing goddamn stories and not setups to crossovers.
Right.
Also,
it does. It feels like it belongs in its own universe.
I feel it's a much more akin to the Netflix kind of shows than it is CW. It has a way more serious, grounded tone. When it tries to deal with real issues, it doesn't fuck up like a goddamn idiot, and it actually knows what it's talking about, and it comes off as way more just relatable and not stupid on so many levels.
Yeah. I love his power set. It's really cool. I love his costume. I mean, the only thing I would love more is that like when they showed a flashback of his old costume, and I'm like, oh shit, it looks legitimately like his like legit comic book costume. It looks awesome. I kind of wish they would have stuck with it, but
Well, I've actually seen a still frame of that, and I understand why they didn't. Like, it looks good in like hazy flashbacks and on like security footage, but when you see him just standing there like fully lit under the studio lights, it doesn't look as good as the one he's wearing now.
oh okay.
But I also his suit looks better by and large than most of the CW characters. Like pretty much everyone but Supergirl, he looks better than. You know, and he has this like actual natural intimidation. Like when he tries to do the Bat voice, he actually comes off as like, oh wow, that guy's actually menacing. Like whereas Arrow comes off as like such a fake tough guy all the time, and it when he tries, he's like, I'm a guy doing a voice, you know, like Black Lightning actually it like is cool because he's cool, not because he's trying to be cool, and I appreciate that a lot. You know,
Well, they got such a huge guy to portray him, so he has just this physical.
well, an older experienced actor also helps a lot. You know, he's not
Right.
a standard CW thumbhead. You know, that's like, well, I was in a music video once, and that was like his acting experience before this. You know, he actually like knows what the fuck he's doing, so that really helps. You know, and a lot of the actors are more experienced. Like, you know, Gamby is, you know, like a 30+ year veteran who's friggin' Raiden in Mortal Kombat 2, for God's sake.
Dude, Gamby
You know?
was so
Yay.
dope.
Huh?
Gamby was awesome. I love
Yes,
Gamby.
Gamby is
Look-
the best, yeah. You know, and the mom, you know, they all, like, even the kids have some previous experience that like, their performances are a lot more genuine. Like, you know, Black Lightning's daughters come off as a million times more real than fucking William Queen, that little shit.
The acting on the show is actually a lot better than anything deserving to be on
And
CW,
so's the
basically.
writing that goes with it.
Writing is really surprisingly spot on and good. Like, they're dealing with some heavy subject matter. It does feel kind of like on par with the Netflix series, and well, regarding some of the latest Netflix series, actually somewhat above it.
Well, I mean, it's funny, like, Black Lightning, when the pilot of Black Lightning is more or less identical to the pilot of Luke Cage, but every mistake that Luke Cage made, Black Lightning did the right thing. You know?
Yeah, it was.
I felt like they looked at the Luke Cage thing and they were like, that's good, but let's do this, and it worked out a little better. Like, I love Luke Cage, don't get me wrong, but I felt like some of the things that the decisions they made in Black Lightning were just better on the whole. And I love the villain. Like, friggin' Tobias Whale is so awesome. Like, I was originally undersold on him because, like, he wasn't nearly big enough to be Tobias Whale. But I also liked, it's like, no, you got an actual albino actor. I mean, like, you're not going to get that many dice rolling the same way. So just, like, fine, he's 6'4", whatever. Good enough. He's big enough. You know? You know, so, and he's a really good actor. Like, the odds that he could act and look enough like the part were very slim. So, you know, and I like, you know, there are no characters on it that you just roll your eyes and go, ugh, them, the way you do with the other CW shows. You know, like the type.
The one that I came the close was his assistant / enemy person. I got a lot of eye rolls from her.
Oh, well, she's barely in it, though. I mean, she gets maybe like 5 lines and like 4 minutes of screen time, so I don't even register as more than supporting cast, you know? I'm talking like season 1 fucking Thea levels of annoying, you know?
I did not realize this, but actually I'm looking up her name right now. I believe that character's name is Cyanide. That's awesome.
That's your gang name.
Are you sure you don't mean the Tobias Whale's assistant? Not because
isn't that?
No, I believe that's Tobias Whale's assistant, Cyanide.
Cyanide, yeah, that's what I was saying. Because Cyanide is the cyborg girl that works for Tobias Whale. I thought Edwin was talking about the
principal assistant. That's who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forget.
She had
her,
5 lines.
Yeah.
All of them were, "If you need anything, just let me know."
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that's a walk-on part. They're not paying a real actress for that job. She's community theater. You know,
Mhm.
she walked in and did an audition, and they said yes. um, you know, that's different. I feel like the cyborg super assassin girl like gets one line maybe, like if that. She just stands around and looks creepy all the time, and moves like a lizard.
I also like the introduction of Thunder into the series and just a superhero origin story again, which is pretty cool because like they give her whole reason like why she already has a costume developed for her. Like
Yeah,
and
they handled the kid's origin so much better than the standard CW. Let's waste 23 episodes even suggesting that this superhero is going to exist. You know, like, they did not waste any time. Like, I want to say by the end of the pilot, Thunder, like, accidentally destroys their bathroom sink in what is now becoming superhero origin trope number, like, 24. You know, if you must discover your powers by breaking the sink in the bathroom and then looking in the mirror going,
oh no,
like the rules now.
I have mastery over porcelain.
Yeah.
I always knew.
I always knew.
I feel like what's her name, Jennifer, is a little more one note, but she gets some stuff later in the season to help out with that.
Jennifer's the mom, right?
Yeah. Wait. I think the mom's Lynn. Isn't Lynn, Jennifer's the
Jennifer's the daughter, the younger
daughter.
one, not Lightning.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
I also feel like the wife gets the traditional like I don't approve of you risking your life sort of thing.
I actually
even though
felt that while she has that, they handled it so much better. Like there is a distinct difference between her. I am really tired of worrying about you going out every night, but I will not stand in the way of you actually fighting crime because I know it's important. And the Felicity lip quiver, what about me? You know, it's like there is a very distinct line, and the wife from Black Lightning is definitely on the right side of it.
Well, I was always wondering like if there was something more wrong with their relationship because they're separated at the beginning of it. Because she, like, I can't do this with you anymore.
Well, I think
like,
it was just lying about being a superhero and almost getting himself killed was probably enough. I mean, that...
Right. And then it's like, but then they have kids together.
Well, they already had the kids when she thought he was a superhero.
Okay, so then it's like he retires for, I want to say, like, it must be 25 years, probably?
No, he says how he's only been retired for between 8 and 10 years, and his kids are like 16 and 18, so they were definitely born for quite a while when he quit.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm regarding their actors' ages and not their character ages. Sorry. I always forget. We're not. We didn't extricate the CW tropes all over the place.
Yeah, I mean they do play teenagers better than some do. I mean they're
Sure.
not as good as the Cloak and Dagger actors who are actual teenagers, but at least they're close. I believe them a lot more than I believe Roy Harper, who's like 28. You know.
It's no Steve Buscemi coming up like, "Hey there, fellow kids."
Yeah, they're fellow kids.
Are we doing 21 Jump Street right now? Because what is this?
Yeah.
What are we doing? But yeah, I really like the whole aspect of like the reason that the powers are happening and stuff is that some sort of government program was poisoning water and like testing out testing out weaponized stuff on the black community, and like that's why Black Lightning is Black Lightning. And I was like, oh, well, that seems pretty dark.
Yeah.
But I guess
the irony of that is most of that is from the comics. It's just like a supreme coincidence how much it aligns with real life right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it is actually based on the comics, but the creepy coincidence it's there. The parallels are there, and I'm sure they're aware of it.
Yeah, I also like Tobias Whale as this just weirdly insecure villain that is always constantly just trying to prove how smart and tough he is, and like he just going to like these insane lengths because he's still like trying to prove something to his dad. Like it's like makes him a lot more human to me.
I mean, they play him like dangerously close to the Netflix Kingpin, but I think they do it differently enough that he still feels like a unique character. And I actually like I dug when he just went and like met with his dad again and was like, yeah, no, I've outgrown you. You know, like that he like completes his arc a little bit that way. I like that. I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Though
also, James,
my one disappointment with Black Lightning, and they may rectify it because I mean it's they still got more seasons to go, but like if Lady Eve stays dead, I will be disappointed because I thought she was fantastic. You know, like, I mean because of who she is in the comics, I'm like, well, just bring her back from the dead. That's like what she does. She makes friggin' mummies, you know, like, so that shouldn't be a problem. But I felt there was a little like of a cottonmouth situation where it was like, I really, really liked her and she's just dead in episode 6. So,
dude,
you know,
if Lalo could come back from the dead, anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping is because he, you know, they'll just go down that route that they're like, yeah, no, there's.
Can I also note, like, I thought Lalo was a joke and then he died, came back, and I'm like, man, I kind of like him now.
Well, now he's the illustrated man. Then like before, I didn't know who the hell he was, but yeah, he's an actual supervillain from the comics.
I didn't know what to feel about Lala, like, or Lativius or whatever the hell his name is.
It's Lala,
and he's like, Lativius, like my name's Lala, like so people you like people calling you Lala.
Yeah, how like is that more dignified?
Like that's I mean I would be mad if people called me that, but okay. And yeah, he gets to come back and then kind of just sits around and doesn't do a whole lot. And then like it seems like he's building up to something more important, and then he just is some sort of pawn for Tobias Whale by the end of it. And I wasn't sure exactly where that storyline was going. Like if there was the one thing I could change about Black Lightning I'd make that more poignant near the end. All
I think it's definitely going somewhere because he is. I wasn't sure in the beginning, but I can't remember if his name's the Illustrated Man or the Tattooed Man. Both exist, but he's definitely an actual Black Lightning villain that's going to hopefully mean something. I imagine they didn't just bring him out for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't make him up. He's not. He's not like. Fucking like the Arrow villains, where they're just like, this guy's really important. Who the hell is he? I don't know. Like, he's basically the Riddler, but he isn't because we didn't buy the rights. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty successful launch for a superhero TV show.
Yeah, definitely the best one of the year by far. Like, by far.
I want to say it's because it has nothing to do with the others, and I want to keep it that way for a bit.
That's really not it. Like, honestly, that is not the problem. Like, the fact that the others are connected is not what brings them down. Like, their few highlights last year were when they actually interacted with each other. Like, that's not the problem. The problem is the writing is shit. Like, Black Lightning, if the Flash showed up on Black Lightning and the Black Lightning writers wrote it, it'd probably be fine. Like, it is not the crossovers that are the problem. It is just shitty writing.
There's this distinct feeling of, like, not even unlike comic book writing, where they get people on, they feel very excited to be like, oh man, I get to work on a superhero show, this is great, I have all these new great ideas, but then somewhere along the line, people, like, either the writers change out, or they get tired of doing their thing, like, or maybe the, just pumping out 22 episodes a year is just too strenuous for them or something, because it seems to never fail that, like, with Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, that they repeat storylines and just start to get lazy with their storytelling. Like, and they just take for granted their audience is like, well, whatever.
Well, like Edwin said, they've already invested so much time. They're like, well, they're not going to quit. They'll keep watching.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I'd understand also that it's not just the writers. Sometimes it's the actors that screw up things, because like the reason Maggie was hastily written out is because apparently the actress wanted to leave. She didn't like being on the show for probably sexually harassing related reasons. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she left. And originally their entire plan was, we're going to have this big relationship with Alex and Maggie, and that's going to lead into introducing Batwoman, and then there's going to be all this tension because Maggie's going to be into Batwoman too. And then they just threw all those plans out and had to just introduce Batwoman as going to like be in a crossover. She's just going to be in it, because they had to abandon their plans. And it's like, I don't blame them necessarily for having their plot derailed, but a skilled writer would figure out a way around it other than throw it all out.
Right. I mean, Renee seems to be around for the long haul, so I don't understand why we're just writing his character into circles. But yeah, overall, man, this was a
and
this
also
was a
I
rough
think it was
one.
like Laurel was not supposed to stay as a full-time character, but she had a bunch of fun and decided to do that. So their plans with Dinah got derailed, and then they're just kind of juggling back and forth of like which one they want to pay attention to. And the answer was both yet neither,
Oh my! So we didn't talk about this during Arrow, but the relationship between Laurel and her not dad is super fucking weird.
Dude,
Weird.
I
do not
so-
like it.
so
1
like,
out of 10 would not recommend.
It's so gross. I don't like it
Nick,
at all.
you know how I love my Arrowverse conspiracy theories, right?
Lay it on me.
All right, so like I said, Quentin is close to death. They have those pits. I think they're gonna chuck him in there. He's gonna go all crazy and then get intimate with his not daughter
Ew.
Wow.
because they're
that's-
not related technically.
No, ew.
No, that I don't think
I
CW
feel like
will do that.
CW would not even
Weak, man.
tangentially go there.
The ratings would be through the roof.
No, they
Maybe if it was FX or HBO.
yeah, not CW. like it's not Game of Thrones. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really want
Like-
this to be right.
you're weird.
But Ed, I don't blame you for feeling that way because that relationship feels all sorts of fucked
Yeah,
up.
it's super creepy
Like-
how they interact because they are not father and daughter. She's just this girl living in his apartment that he won't let go anywhere or talk to anybody. And it like, no matter what the intent of the writing is, it comes off so creepy. Like nothing about it feels right.
Also, what's weird is that it starts to work and she starts to get like Stockholm syndrome of like, oh, well, my not dad might be good enough to believe in me so where I don't have to be bad. And it's like the bad girl savior storyline. And it's like, what the fuck are we doing here,
it's
guys?
the same thing like I said with the Flash moment in his finale. When Laurel and Dinah, like, I guess just off screen get over their shit and fight back to back in the finale, that seems like a good moment on paper, but as soon as it happens, you stop and you're like, how did we get here from where we were? Like, what events transpired between now and then that earned this,
Yeah, I realize that Katie Cassidy they want to use because obviously they must like the actor, not unlike how they were using Merlin. And I'm like, get rid of her. This character no longer functions in the show. If you want her to cameo every once in a while, fine. But she's actively working against one of your other actors in Black Canary. You're taking away both their storylines because you want this one actor on the show. And
yeah, like
it's-
I originally thought when Dinah was first introduced and they showed, oh, evil Laurel exists and she has the real superpowers the way Black Canary was supposed to, I said right then, I'm like, oh, well, Dinah will probably die and Laurel will take over and become the real Black Canary after a face turn. And it seems like that is probably still what they're going to do, but it's taken them like 2 years because they just don't want to fire either of them, I guess. But there's no reason for 2 Black Canaries.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind
and
of like
also
what happened
like,
with Sarah the first time, that it was like, well, now that Laurel actually has become the Black Canary, Sarah has become superfluous. We don't need both of them. So let's just throw out Sarah, throw her in the trash.
mm-hmm. And man, I just don't. I feel like Katie Cassidy has gotten better, but there's. I feel like the same thing with Merlin is like this character is not worth bending over backwards to keep them on the show, and it feels every time it feels forced.
Yeah, well, the thing
Like,
that I really was like, what are you guys doing, is that she, like, publicly revealed herself and, like, concocted this story about having been kidnapped for 5 years. And then I'm like, wait, so you came out as still alive after Laurel Lance was outed as the Black Canary, and, like, no one has anything to say about this?
Yeah, no one is coming to her door or trying to arrest her
Yeah,
under
like,
the new
aren't the
vigilante
cops
law.
looking for the Black Canary and not knowing who she is? Wouldn't the first place they'd go is Laurel Lance, the person that's documented as being the Black Canary? Like,
Jesus Christ, Arrow is so bad. We were talking about Black Lightning and then went full
we
back
went
circle.
back to Arrow. It's so bad it took back over. There was more
God damn
hate.
it.
It needed to get
Like,
out.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait, we did this already. Why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Why are we talking
I'm
about
sorry,
Arrow
I-
again?
I couldn't help but like that whole Laurel thing. I realized we didn't talk about it, and that's just a travesty because that's like as a whole season of a fucking turd of a season. That was the shit on top of just like what the fuck. Is
Actually,
this?
that wasn't even the worst part to me. Like, it sucked, but I found Oliver and the teams like, we broke up. No, we didn't. We broke up. No, we didn't. We broke up. No, we didn't. Just like every episode was killing me. Like, I didn't even care about Laurel by that
It
point.
feels like Arrow time traveled back to the 90s to get its writers or something.
Yeah,
Like what?
it's gone charmed on us. It's like every character behaves out of character. Nobody is consistent from season to season. They all just have conflict for the sake of conflict. Like, no one is ever
Well, really,
held
I think-
accountable for anything they've done.
The thing that's wrong with almost all these series now is the fact that it started off with them where the characters were driving the plot, and now the plot is driving the characters, and they just need characters to do stuff in order to move to the next scene, and they just don't care anymore or to give them a reason to do it. Like, okay, Renee does this then, and then maybe Mr. Terrific does this. Flash does this, like, and then no one asks, like, wait, why would they do that when previously they've done something different? And they go, shut up, dude. We need to get to the next episode.
There's an almost Power Rangers marketing to it. Like, what I mean by that is that, you know, like you said earlier, that they're like, well, the fans are going to be the fans no matter what we do. So they're like, they don't understand that you need characters to drive a show, and they think if you just hit the bullet points of, well, the characters put on their costumes and they run around a dimly lit warehouse and do effect shots at each other, everyone will be happy. You know, like, they never seem to take into account that you need substance to your television show. You can't market it like you're marketing to a 6-year-old trying to sell toys. You have to actually have some sort of connection, because theoretically, when you become a mature adult, watching people punch each other the same way in the same costume in the same location every week should not be the thing that keeps you coming back. It should be the characters and the drama and the plot and stuff. Like, it should be more to it than like an episode of the original 80s Voltron where you're just biding your time till the 20-minute mark and they fight.
Yeah. Well, do we feel like that the Arrowverse is pretty much done? Like, can they redeem themselves? Can these shows like pull out and get back to where they were, or are we kind of in it for the long haul?
I think
here?
anything
I
can
don't know.
redeem itself. I mean, like, any show can pull itself back from the brink if it hasn't been canceled yet. But, like, I kind of feel like, at least, especially in the case of Arrow and Flash, like, they just don't care. Like, they're doing the show because they're contracted to do the show. I
Yeah.
feel like
At this-
Stephen Amell is enthusiastic about his job, but that's it. Like, everyone else just does it because that's their paycheck. Nobody cares.
Well, I think Stephen Amell knows that this is the most exciting thing he will ever do.
Yeah, I
Like-
think he also understands that, like, when Arrow is over, there's probably not going to be anything for him, because he already tried to branch out a couple of times and it did not work for him, you know?
Remember Casey Jones?
So I think he, like, feels a very, like, Star Trek actor, like, trapped situation where he's like, this is the character I'm known for, this is the show that I'm known for, I will hang on to it until they literally take it out of my hands. Like,
Yeah. He'll be able to do conventions for the rest of his life. He's fine.
oh, yeah, that's true. He's not going to
Like,
parlay into, like, another successful series when Arrow ends. That's probably not on the horizon for him.
no, that's not in the cards for him. I feel like he was lucky enough to get fucking Arrow, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is an absolutely nice guy. I really like that, or I really like him, and he has gotten better at playing Oliver, but his range is pretty much non-existent.
I wouldn't say it's non-existent, but he leans so hard on the fake Batman thing. Like, when he's just being himself and sincere, he's very likable, but like when he tries to be Arrow, he's really just trying to be Batman, and he just grimaces and is like, "You failed this city." Like, all right, whatever, dude. You know, it's like, dude, you're wearing a tank top. Like, you're fighting crime in a tank top. Like, fuck off. You're not scary.
Nice. Get back on your salmon ladder.
Yeah, fucking deck shoes. Fuck off.
Ed, do you feel like the shows are on the downward slope, or they can pull themselves out, or do you have a theory of how they could fix themselves or anything like that?
Not anything too in depth, but they definitely need to step their game up. I haven't lost hope. There's plenty of stuff they can do. There's plenty of stuff that I hear that they're working on. Like I said, Swamp Thing. Give me Swamp Thing. That will almost definitely make me like it, no matter what. I'd say that very
sparingly. To take chances is what it is, and putting Swamp Thing on a show is taking a chance. That's a good idea. I think they're too settled into, well, we just do shows about guys who want to be Batman, who grimace and stand around in alleyways. Like, that's all they want to do, because it's the cheapest, easiest thing to do. It's like, if it isn't goofy, wacky, it's Batman ripoff. Those are their two flavors.
Look, if you throw a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold into a fucking episode of Legends, I will fucking watch it.
They've been saying they want to do it for friggin' years. They just haven't been able to get the rights, the actors, and the time all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been teasing that since fucking, like, before Legends even existed. He was trying to put Blue Beetle and Booster Gold on fucking Flash and Arrow.
But guys, we have been talking for quite a while. Thank you so much for joining me for this Arrowverse talk. I legit don't know if we'll be able to do it again next year. I don't know if I can, if I can handle it.
We can move on to something else, something better.
We can talk,
it doesn't have
Cloak
to be
and Dagger.
the bad superhero shows. Like, there are good ones.
Yeah. I mean, we could. We should move on and talk about maybe the Netflix ones or something, or something. I don't know.
DC adjacent, like Krypton or whatever. Like that.
Did you watch Gifted? Gifted season 2 should be coming out soon.
I want to watch Gifted.
Gifted was really
Krypton
good.
any
I was
good?
quite surprised, very pleasantly surprised by how good that was.
Okay,
Gifted and Legion were both very, very pleasantly good, but in very different ways. Like, I recommend them both, but for very, very different reasons, because they are very different flavors of superhero show.
And
I got you.
If you finish Cloak and Dagger, we'll talk about that. That's going to wrap up in a few weeks. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that also very, very good.
Pretty
much every show we didn't talk about in this is pretty good.
I feel like that's when you know that this Arrowverse is in trouble, when we finish one of these reviews and we're like, what else could we talk about? Like,
I forgot to mention. I thought somebody was going to bring it up. The Titans trailer. Like, everyone's mad about how dark and gritty it is and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's extremely different from the CW, and it reminds me of Netflix. That's fine with me. Like,
I mean, it's different in the CW in that they can swear and
fuck Batman.
That was the only thing I was
that.
A little like, okay, you dropped the F-bomb just to show us that you have a mature rating. Like, that was...
Look at me. It comes off as a teenager, like, I'm an adult.
Yes,
and that's the thing I don't
but everything
like
else was fine. Like, I loved Robin's costume, and, you know, I thought everybody looked good actually moving in the show in 3 dimensions. And it reminded me of Cloak and Dagger, which was friggin' awesome. Like, really unexpectedly awesome. So, if it's anything like that, I'll be fine with it.
Oh boy, I have a very different opinion about that, but I feel like Starfire looks really bad. Like, her live action look is like weird. Also, I think she incinerates a guy, and I got to tell you guys, and Robin looks like he uses guns.
Dude, Robin killed like 3 or 4 people.
Look, I'm not into it. I'm not into the Teen Titans killing people. I'm not into superheroes in general killing people, and I don't like the teen sidekick heroes doing it.
Dude, Hawken does like
where I'm at with
Carnage.
Like here's where I'm at with this, right? For years, We've been listening to people go, oh my God, Teen Titans Go ruined Teen Titans. It's so stupid. It's so cartoony. It's so childish. It's so immature. So what did they do? They made a super mature, violent, gritty, action-oriented Teen Titans show. And now everybody's like, no, that's not what we wanted. And it's like, well, no, it is what you wanted. It's what you asked for. It is the exact words of what you asked for. So
Well, what I wanted was Young Justice, and I finally got Young Justice, so I'm not bitching anymore.
You specifically, like, in an accusing finger pointing, but, like, you know, fans in general have been very vocal about how Teen Titans Go is not what they wanted, and how it was against what they believe the Titans should be, and you know, so they go extreme in the other direction, thinking this is what people wanted, and they're like, no, I still don't want it. So I kind of sympathize with them. Fuck you, then.
I can get that.
You know?
It's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing.
Yeah, like, that's why I'm defending it, is because I'm like, first of all, I was not offended by the trailer. I thought it looked fine. And, like, second of all, I'm like, for like 8 years, I've been listening to people saying Teen Titans Go is so childish and stupid. I miss the good, serious Teen Titans. And now they're like, oh, this is serious. I don't like it. Why isn't it more like Teen Titans?
Well,
like,
I remember the Teen Titans cartoon I watched when I was a kid. I was like, man, I love this. Like, and then I remember the one thing I thought about, like, you know what I don't like about this is the chibi thing that they do every once in a while.
And then they made a whole show about it. It was nothing but that. So,
and I was like, ooh, wow, I am not into this. Like, it took the one thing I didn't quite like about that show and made it what it was all about. And I was like, oh no.
See, like, I don't hate Teen Titans Go, but I don't care about it either. Like, I'm pretty indifferent to it. Like, I respect its existence. Like, you don't get 6 seasons in a movie because you suck that bad, you know? Like,
sure.
Though I guess maybe Arrow would go against that. But even Arrow had moments where it didn't suck. You know, but like, I just the people's backlash of this isn't what I wanted, and then they change it to the exact opposite, and they're like, well, this isn't what I wanted either. Like, well, what do you want? Your freaking Teen Titans DVDs still exist. Watch those if that's what you want.
Ed, you've been quiet. What did you think about the trailer?
I liked it. I'm on the boat that I kind of shrugged because it's different. I don't know if I like this, but I'm super open to it. I enjoyed the fuck Batman. I enjoyed Hawk and Dove kind of like slashing people's like tendons or whatever.
Well, you know, it's funny. Everybody is focused on that fuck Batman thing, and they're like, Robin would never say that. There's a meme going around right now with the clip of him saying fuck Batman, and then Starfire from the original cartoon going, you are not Robin. And I'm like, have you ever seen Robin? Because he says fuck Batman literally once a year and tries to quit. Like,
which Robin? This is Nightwing Robin,
he's
right?
Dick Grayson Robin. You know, the one who
Dick
became
Grayson?
famous for hating Batman and quitting and becoming his own.
You know what? Dick would say fuck Batman. I think Dick would say
like,
fuck.
people are like, he'd never say that. I'm like, he has said that.
And I'm pretty sure Dick Grayson has a body count.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Batman has a body count, despite what everybody wants to say. Like, despite everyone who's seen Batman versus Superman, what they'll tell you, Batman has totally killed people in the comics.
Look, what I don't like about it is the fact that it's going to be like Arrow, where he kills some people, but then he'll leave the leaders alive, and they'll be really inconsistent about who they fucking kill.
That might be true, but I don't know if he actually killed those guys, because again, like BVS. Like, people are like, yeah, that would kill you in real life, but this is comic book world. Like, you know that guy's just upside down in his wrecked car going, man, I should have kept that cushy job for the Penguin. You know, like...
Okay, we're not going to get into the BVS argument here, but he definitely killed that dude with the flamethrower. He blew him the fuck up.
You know who that guy is, right?
I don't.
He's the KG Beast.
That was KG Beast.
A guy who is famous for being blown up by Batman and turned into a cyborg and coming back for revenge.
No, he's dead in this universe.
No, I'm shitting you not. That is who he is. Like, they show you his name, and he is the KG Beast, Anatoly whatever, and that is his origin. Batman blew him up, he lost his arm and got horribly scarred, and he came back as a supervillain. He's friggin' fine.
All right, we are going to have to wrap it up here before we get into a Batman versus Superman argument, because I am not doing that tonight.
That's a different show.
That is a different show that we'll do that on. But thank you guys once again for joining me on this. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Ed. It's been fantastic. Would you like to tell the people where they can find you and your content on the internet? Zach, we'll start with you.
Oh, yeah. Sure, you can find us at super-comic.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of that stuff under Unlikely Heroes. And we've got new issues of our comic, The Surgeon, coming out very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Very cool. Ed, how about yourself?
Yeah, you can find the Oda Bros, which is the Oda Bro podcast, which is an anime podcast. We do it every Tuesday, 8:30 live on Twitch. Google that, you will find us. The Oda Bros, yes.
Right. The Oda Bros, yes. Well, thank you guys so much. We will go back to our regularly scheduled programming right after this.
Woke up in the ghetto, we need our hero back. Guns clapping, gangs active, like where we at. Black lightning need to strike, like where we at. Show us another way besides these guns and crack. Nighttime suit up, this for payback. This our Superman, Robin, and the Bat. Step back, you might get shocked off of contact. This was for the hood, this for being black. We ain't got no hope, they killing every day. I mean, we need you in every way. We need results, we don't need to see your face. Here we come, just to say the day. Here we come, just in perfect timing. To help the needy and guide the blinded. Last night I saw a superhero, he was black. He said, this is for the street, Black Lightning's back.
All right, I hope you enjoyed our superhero talk with Zack and Ed. It was very fun for me. I mean, it was the most rewarding experience out of watching all of those fucking shows.
I'm actually kind of disappointed I wasn't sitting in on the call, because listening to you have a one-star conversation about these shows is fucking hilarious.
That's right, you did do that one time.
That happened once, because you had to come over to my parents' place.
I did. My house, yes, my recording situation was fucked, and I had to do it at your place that one time. And I was just like, yeah, and just listening to me like, no, fuck this. Arrow, no, bullshit.
That was pretty funny.
And Arrow, what? Are we killing people or not? God damn it. But no, yeah, it's a fun time, and hopefully we can, even if we don't do the Arrowverse shows, we're going to have Zack and Ed on for other stuff, because I do like just talking with those guys and rapping with them. But in the meantime, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. If you would like to listen to any of our back catalog, it is all available on iTunes. You can find us there under the UGO network. Look for our regular episodes there. Look for our episodes of Netflix and Kill, which are very, very fun, in which we've had Ed on for some of those before, and along with some other really, really cool guests, and talk about some killer movies. You can follow us on, I should say, as long as you're on iTunes, give us one of those 5-star reviews. They are very helpful for helping us beat that algorithm on iTunes. And also, if you like the show, you can like us on Facebook. Follow us there as well. Maybe even follow us on our Twitter at UGO Podcast, or our Instagram. That's the same thing at UGO Podcast. And you can follow some of our con picks. Look at some of the Isabella picks we have with our new, Isabella the Derpy Dragon mascot, taking pictures with all these cool con people. It's real fun. But until next time, guys, we're on Apologetic Geek Out, and we're out.